Everyone has played the original Mega Man X. Everyone can agree that it's an ironclad classic that stands right up there with Donkey Kong Country or Super Mario RPG as one of the 16-bit era's greatest accomplishments. Gamers were a bit divided on the sequel X2, at least they were if they could fucking find it, but on today's show we're going to discuss the series' crown jewel, Mega Man X3. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, when I was growing up I never actually owned this game, but admittedly, I probably could have purchased it 7 goddamn times given the amount of money I dropped at Video Update renting this bastard repeatedly. The bosses were awesome, the game features some of the greatest power-ups in the history of the franchise, and, for the first time in the series, the double air dash. Now, although I love the shit out of the double air dash, considering Mega Man used to have a jetpack, what exactly is the point of a double air dash? Why in allegiance of hoary fuck would Mega Man toss his jetpack away in exchange for a double air dash? What a pointless, arbitrary downgrade. That's like pausing mid-thrust on Alyssa Milano so you can go finish on Betty White. But that music... oh, sweet cyborg Jesus, that music. I'll be the one to say it. There's no video game series with better music than Mega Man, hands down. Other games such as Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, even newer titles like Mass Effect certainly deserve mention for their incredible soundtracks, but Mega Man's collective soundtracks kick the competition so ruthlessly hard in the sack that their testicles high-five their tonsils. Now, before I go any further, let me first offer a friendly warning to anyone who hasn't played this game before. Don't even allow yourself to entertain the thought of playing the PlayStation version of Mega Man X3, especially if you like the music. Mega Man has always been the 8 and 16-bit sonic equivalent of metal, but somehow the PlayStation version manages to turn one of the greatest soundtracks on the NES into some puerile bossa nova douchebaggery that wouldn't be at all out of place on a Barry Manilow album. Don't believe me? Exhibit A. Now compare that to the original opening. The prosecution rests. And yes, this is the game where, for the first time ever, you could play as Zero. Now, ever since the first game in the series, everyone had been wondering when they'd get to play as this guy. He was one of those mysterious types that come along in Japanese games for whatever reason. Let's just consider ourselves lucky that he isn't decked out in a trench coat with buckles and zippers that perform no function, except making the wearer look like a Hot Topic exploded all over them and wielding a sword 7 times the size of his genitals. I have to be perfectly honest and admit that when Zero first showed up, I thought he was a she. Think about it, guys. He's got a long, flowing blonde ponytail, and if we're all being honest, he's got a pretty nice rack. And those emerald green nipples he's rocking didn't help matters either. But either way, we all thought this guy was 7 different kinds of badass. So popping in X3 for the first time and discovering that you could actually waste guys as Zero was like waking up in a bed made of Doritos, sleeping next to Kristen Bell, and finding out your cock was 7 times larger. Then we died. Once. And found out he never comes back. Capcom! I mean, what is the fucking point of putting him in the game at all if the minute a strong breeze blows by, he splits open like a seat cushion at Ruben Studdard's house? That's like being handed a rocket launcher with no ammunition. What a robot cock tease. The Mega Man series has always been known for being a masochist's wet dream when it comes to difficulty, but it seems like every time you turn around, Mega Man X3 goes out of its way to smack you in the face with its throbbing difficulty cock. Note to Capcom, games that are too hard aren't fun to anyone whose diet doesn't consist primarily of rice and repressed anger. To make matters worse, X feels the need to fight every single boss, which wouldn't be so bad except that he's apparently forgotten every single power he's learned in the previous 7 million installments in the Mega Man franchise. This essentially renders Zero as useful as an elderly man's dick, as X will not only butt in when it comes time to fight each stage boss, but also during each stage's halfway point. Seriously, just try to play as Zero for longer than a minute and a half. It's not possible without standing in place, but at least they finally got it right with X X4, where you could at long last play through the entire game as either X or Zero with no interruptions. Nothing illustrates my point that X is completely useless better than the cover of this game. Hey X, little help here? While you're standing there posing dramatically, there's 4 of the game's bosses trying to kill me. But nah, don't worry about it. Let me do all the work. And what apocalyptic false advertising that is anyways. You can't go 5 feet without X butting in saying, "I'll handle this," much less fight an actual boss. But even if X were to jump into the fray, what is he going to do exactly with a Dust Devil strapped to his forearm? Maybe if this were Mega Man 4 and one of his adversaries was Dust Man, but I'm afraid you're $1 short and half a decade late on that one, X. And another reason you'll want to give a pass to the PlayStation version, the ball-crushingly bad anime cutscenes. Now, you'll recall from my Final Fantasy VII review in which I tore the entire island nation of Japan a new sphincter that I am not, in fact, a fan of anime. Now, I'm rolling up my pant legs in preparation to wade through your river of ramune-flavored tears at a later date, but for now, let me warn you all, even those who enjoy anime, to steer well fucking clear of this game's cutscenes. Now, I hate to tear open a healing wound, but do any of you remember the profoundly awful anime cutscenes in X4?
Iris!
Zero,
Hang in there, Iris!
please, stay away from Repliforce. Let's live together.
Of course you fucking remember it. It's like that one year at summer camp when the cook touched you inappropriately behind the cafeteria, and even humming the theme to Family Ties didn't keep the memories at bay. If you try and suppress it, all you end up with is an inoperable brain tumor. You can try and pretend it's the late 90s again, and Japanese anime is still so new to your 13-year-old mind that even infantile scripts and slipshod animation can be overlooked because the gameplay is just so daggum good. But at the end of the day, the SNES version has the exact same gameplay, and no loading times, and no atrocious remixed music, and less Animu bullshit in general. So pop this game into your SNES, rageaholics. It may be so difficult at times it borders on sadomasochism, but damn it, it just hurts so good. But don't take my word for it.
No, this isn't happening! There's no reason for me to go on. What am I fighting for?